cool.
Hey. Yeah, we're live, dude. We're live, dude. We're freaking live, dude. We are live. We are going to die. 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 We are live. We are going to die.
This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast. 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 This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast.
I know a lot of people.
This is a SUPcast.
Who like to have a good time.
This is a SUPcast.
I know a lot of people that like to have a real good time. And I am one of those people. Not really. I've been told I need to be less serious.
This is a SUPcast.
I've been told I need to be less serious.
This is a SUPcast.
I'm a serious guy.
This is a SUPcast.
I'm a serious guy.
This is a SUPcast. This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast. This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast. I am a serious guy. 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 This is a podcast. We're dropping frames. Shit's getting wild. We're dropping frames, but we're going back. We're going back. I think it's gonna work out. Or is it? Let's see right here. Everyone say a prayer. Everyone say a prayer. Everyone say a prayer. Everyone say a prayer. To the streaming gods, to the streaming gods. We have Brandon Hardesty. We have Brandon Hardesty from the band Bumpin Uglies. From the band Bumpin Uglies. Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Patterson. I'm a dude, and I started streaming like 3 weeks ago. So it's still kind of new, and we're still dropping frames, but I think we got it. Hey, what's up, sexy? I think we got it under control. So let's go. Let's fucking get Brandon in here. This is episode 36 of the podcast SUPcast. And we've been doing this shit for a minute now. And this dude, East Coast dude, who I know through Joey Harcum, and I know Joey Harcum through Grilled Lincolns,
And I know grilled Lincolns through wax and herbal tea and McGregor. So let's get into it. I am going to hit admit. Admit. I have admitted Brandon. Hello, Brandon. Can you hear me? What's up, dude?
What up? Yeah.
And this dude, East Coast dude,
Oh, hold up.
Joey Harcum, and I know Joey Harcum through.
Hold up. Where the hell is that audio coming from?
What audio? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine. Keep talking.
Check.
Keep talking.
Check 1 2 2 2. Yeah, I was watching on Facebook Live there.
It was tripping me out. I'm like tripping. All right, let's get this on gallery view, and let's do full screen. And here we are. We're fucking rolling, bruh. I'm gonna put these.
Yay!
Okay, we're live. And I was dropping some frames earlier, but I'm only the frame droppage has ceased. So I think we're good. I think we're rolling, dude.
You hardwired into your spaceship?
No, bro, I got fucking shitty ass Wi-Fi. Yeah.
So do you have a router where you live or where you're doing this?
Yes, I do.
So what I did, because I have my computer down in my basement and my router's in my living room, so it's going to be a huge issue to hardwire it.
Yeah.
They make these adapters that you plug into the wall, and it piggybacks your Ethernet off of your the copper wire that runs your electricity.
Ooh.
So you can plug it plugs into an electrical outlet like upstairs. Then you plug an Ethernet from your router into the adapter. Then I have another one plugged in down here in my basement, which converts it back into Ethernet, so I'm able to be hardwired without crazy shit.
I don't even know, because I have this fucking MacBook, dude. I don't even know. There's not even an Ethernet port in the MacBook. I would have to get some sort of Ethernet to USB-C dongle type shit.
Yeah, my wife so my wife owns a voice studio.
Okay.
And when all this shit started, she switched immediately, to online, and she bought a new MacBook to do that, and I'm very familiar with the dongle of which you speak, because she uses that to hardwire her.
Okay,
her
so
jam.
so that dongle exists.
It's an all-in-one, because those new MacBooks, they don't have conventional USB ports either. So the dongle has USB, it has Ethernet, and I believe it has HDMI as well, because it doesn't have HDMI on there either, right? It's all just USB 3.
Yeah, because right now I got a dongle that's got an HDMI out, and then it's got a regular ass USB input, and then it has a USB-C out as well. But you're saying they make ones that have Ethernet, like straight up I could dongle my Ethernet straight to the computer.
You could dongle your way directly into the computer. Yeah.
So many dongles. Hey,
man.
I appreciate you doing this last minute, because my guest bailed, and I with this whole podcast thing, there's scheduling involved, and I've been like kind of fucking up lately, because I've been streaming so much. I got into the whole streaming thing, and I've been spending 4-5 hours on streams just like fucking around with this stupid looper machine I got. And
I noticed that. So you've heard of Mark Rebillier, right?
Oh yeah, dude, that dude, he's the GOAT, man. I mean, I saw an interview with him where he pretty much said Reggie Watts is who inspired me to do what I do. Is he an East Coast dude, or no? He was a Texas guy.
Mark's a Dallas. He's from Dallas.
Okay.
And then
do you know him?
No, I was hip to him right before he blew up. Like there are all these videos that he did where he's playing in like a barbecue joint in Dallas, like, and no one knows who the fuck he is, and he's just being himself.
Yeah.
And like really winning. It's an audience of like bros and just people day drinking and eating barbecue, and it just blew me away. And then I've been like watching his ascent, and he's just he's so inspiring and cool. And I just dig it. But like I do like, I'm not very good at it, but I do like looping when I do bar gigs and shit. So I have like the model, because that's the Boss makes that, right?
It's the RC505.
Yeah. So it's designed to be used with your hands instead of your feet. And the first time I'd ever seen that was with Mark Rebillier, and it's just cool.
What you can hook up right here. I got a fucking an FS6 right here. Can you see this? Can you see it? This actually, it can go stereo into the unit, and you could actually record guitar tracks. You can stack guitar tracks, and then there's also a feature on here where you could You could do guitar to bass. It's not the best tone. It doesn't sound like a bass guitar, but it's as close as you're gonna get if you don't have a bass line around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been fucking around with that, but like watching someone like him, or there's this dude from Detroit named J Rose. There's people that literally they're able to make art with this shit. Like I'm just a dumbass that's just making stupid mouth noises. But I want to get to the point where if I can manipulate this machine and get to a level where I'm actually doing stuff that sounds really cool. I think I got a decent grasp, but like people make fucking art with this fucking thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a prolific piano player, and he's just got such a grasp on harmonies, and like, I mean, like the musicianship of him is just so dope. But then on top of it, he's got such like an irreverent and spontaneous sense of humor that's like, and he's just like, he just gets meme culture, which is it's funny to me,
Yeah.
The musicianship.
I'm wondering if here, hold on. I just want to check the stream real quick. Sorry.
SM7B gang, baby.
Yeah, dude. I started doing my podcast, and I'm like, okay, I don't have any money, but Joe Rogan has these mics, and his voice sounds nice.
Yeah, I mean, this it's the best thing you can have for vocals. I think I got it for just being able to track my own vocals at the house. I got it years ago, but I've slowly, as everyone is, I've gotten into streaming, and it's so great for streaming audio, fucking podcast audio, whatever kind of clear audio you want,
Yeah, I was able to record some acoustic guitar too, and I feel like as long as I got this thing called a cloud lifter, which is pretty essential, I think, for the vocal aspect of it. If you're like recording a loud guitar amp, it's fine, but they're pretty like low volume to begin with, Yeah. And so I got this cloud lifter thing, which it's a clean dB boost. I don't know. We're talking nerd shit here, but ultimately, yeah, I got it sounding pretty decent. I'm gonna fucking this comment thing. I want people to. There's a bunch of people watching, but I can't see the comments because my chat got all fucked up. So I'm gonna restart that. Sorry, dude. Okay, but we're here. We're doing this. We're fucking live. And that's the thing with the live thing is kind of like all bets are off. Like shit could get all fucked up. I did a 2-hour stream with my buddy. Okay, here we go. That's accurate. Last week, and we were doing like a tea tasting, but it went like 2.5 hours. And by the end of it, I think my computer was just cooked, dude. And it's a newer MacBook, but most of the people doing the streaming thing have like souped up PCs and whatnot.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself. Like I have a Mac Tower that I do all my stuff at home with, but the whole streaming world is it's so fucked up because like Mac is geared towards audio, which is why I started using Mac because I use PC.
And video editing.
Yeah, but then you have like all the whole streaming and broadcasting thing is PC for whatever reason. I don't necessarily understand it. But I'm sure you're familiar with OBS at this point, as everyone else is.
Yeah. So it's really a matter of like, how can I make the Mac do everything that I need it to do? Because I do video editing and then I do the audio. I'm getting into like engineering my own tracks and shit. Working in Logic and trying.
I'm in the same boat, man. That was like. I like right at the top of this whole thing, man. Like I decided I was either going to start buying stock because now is the time to buy stock. And I don't know shit about it. So I was like, I need to learn about this. Yeah. It was either buying stock or learning how to mix. And I just didn't, I feel like financially it would have been better to buy stock. But I was like, I don't fucking care about this. And I don't want to put that, like, it's way more, I'll get way more enjoyment about learning how to mix,
Well, if it gets to the point, and what I'm starting to realize is the more I learn Logic and the more I learn how to actually like engineer my own creative endeavors, whether it's video editing or I'm just like, man, I spent all of this motherfucking money man. Over the last 20 years doing this rock band thing, literally paying motherfuckers to engineer every aspect of everything I've done, whether it's someone doing the video editing or it's straight out of the gate, even just like recording demos and shit. Like I remember I paid my buddy who's got a studio because I'm in Long Beach and he's got a studio in Pedro, and I remember like paying him $50 to $100 for something that I could have done myself very easily if I just had the knowledge,
Yeah. So for me, one of the incentives is like we started doing the Patreon thing about 3 months ago, and one of the perks we're offering is we we started multi-tracking all our sets back when we were touring, back when touring was a thing.
Yeah.
Like we did back in October, and we're going to be offering like a compilation, like a 10-track live compilation every 3 months, you know? So that, like, to do that, you know, we're paying engineers to do that. So like one of my first goals is I want to get to the point where I can mix our own live sets to release for this kind of thing, which I'm honestly, I think I'm there at this point, but you know, then another thing is like I'm going to be doing that same concept with me doing like live acoustic stuff here in my basement. So I just, you know, like I want to be able to mix my own shit that I release. It's one less person to pay. And then eventually that's another side hustle for me, like being able to mix other band stuff, you know?
It's a marketable skill. And like, cause I remember in the early 2000s when I first started recording my band and paying to have our band recorded, it was just like, we didn't know anyone that had the capabilities besides a fucking big ass studio. Like, it's like, okay, well, we got to pay these motherfuckers that are charging like, you know, $50 an hour, however much they were charging back then, because there was nowhere else to go. But now it's like, there's fucking 15-year-old kids that are making lush cinematic scores in their bedroom, you know?
Dude, Billie Eilish and her brother have been like so inspiring to me, man. Like I don't understand how people could hate on her. Like I get it. Like if you like, people just like hate pop in general, but like that shit is so creative and so catchy and awesome. And it's totally done with fucking logic. You know what I mean? It's like you're winning Grammys with a fucking $200 program. I don't know, man. It's fucking, I think it's cool as shit, you know?
Yeah. And I love that record. And I kind of just became aware of her because the media was blasting her everywhere. And I'm just like, okay, what's this all about? But then I heard, what's the song? When the Party's Over. And I saw the video for it. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, this is really powerful stuff. And if I really think there's a bunch of motherfuckers that are like part of this old guard. They're still holding on so desperately to the old, like, well, rock needs to have guitars and the drums, and it, like, they're afraid of change. And I'm the older I get, especially now, I'm starting to really embrace a lot of newer music. And people who are of the mindset, they're just like, there's no good music anymore. It's like, motherfucker, are you
you're not looking?
Yeah, like, and there's a lot of people that are on the radar of this. There's just amazing music being made all the fucking time. It just doesn't sound like it sounded 20 years ago. And if you just want to live in a nostalgia loop and just only listen to the shit you were listening in high school, you're gonna be pretty fucking bored. Like I have this iPod that I used to listen to on tour, and I can't even stand it anymore because it's not linked up to Spotify. I can't, you know, I can update it, but I have to like go and like move files and yada yada. And so I just started fucking paying for Spotify. Now I'm listening to all types of weird shit. I'm listening to like,
yeah. I've discovered all these bands from when I was in high school, like in the 90s, that I, you know, like I'd always hear about, but I didn't have the money to buy the CD, and then I just never listened to them. And it's like band, like just acts that I'm like blown away, and they're like some of my favorite shit now. And it's like that $10 a month for Spotify is just like the best thing in the world, honestly.
And now you can, when Joe Rogan makes the jump, you can listen to all the Joe Rogan podcasts.
You know, I've never really gotten into him, man. Like I love podcasts, but like I just never, I don't know. I haven't dived into that one yet.
Well, it was just half a joke, but like it depends on the guest he has. You know, if he's got a guest on there that's just like, you should eat only meat, and they talk for fucking 3 hours about MMA and eating only meat and like no vegetables, no anything else, I kind of am just like, okay. But if he's got like Neil deGrasse Tyson, or he had Tony Hawk recently, I was like, this is interesting. I can fuck with this. I'm trying to make sure my vocal level is loud enough. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Mark Rebier, he's Loop Daddy, man. He definitely has the same machine, but what he brings to it. Okay, someone was asking a question on Twitch. B, what's your favorite podcast?
I'd probably say The Working Songwriter by this dude I like, Joe Pug. He's a slamming musician. He's like a folky singer-songwriter. It's like very Bob Dylan-esque, you know, where it's like acoustic guitar and vocals and harmonica. He does a lot of Rhodes piano as well, like electric piano.
How do you spell that?
The podcast, or the just The Working Songwriter. So TheWorking SONGWRITER.
The Working Song. Very, very good spelling.
It's rad though, man. He like interviews like guys from like different generations, you know, like old cats that like were on like the Texas circuit, you know, back in the day, and then like new cats who are like in Nashville or whatever, and just very people on different levels of their career. And they talk about like the business end of it. Like, you know, a lot of them have had like label success, and then a lot of them have had touring success, and just everyone's, they talk about the business end of it, the creative aspect of it, you know. So as a songwriter, to me, it's like super fascinating. For example, like I've been listening to that podcast for like 3 years, and one of the common themes from like the older songwriters was all these guys that were scheduling time like for songwriting sessions, which I just thought was ridiculous and takes the romance out of it. But you know, then like after having a kid and having like my whole world flipped upside down and not having the luxury of just being able to start writing when I wanted to, I really started appreciating that. It's discipline, you know what I mean? Like songwriting is just like anything else, man. And I always, like when I talk to people about it, like I compare it to like lifting weights or anything, where it's like just any other skill set that you develop with repetition and good practice.
Well, when this whole fucking bullshit went down and I started being stuck here, like I was pretty fucking manic until I finally, like in the last week or so, I have a streaming schedule where I'm doing my streams, and then I have like, I set my alarm and I get up at a certain time so I can do exercise and meditate. You know what I'm saying? Like because before it was just all fucking.
It's huge, man.
It was all chaos before. Yeah. And I don't have a responsibility like a child or something that where it could take me away from myself. You know, I live with my girlfriend, but it was to the point where I was starting to really fucking lose it. And if anything, this is therapy for me, like talking to other human beings. And since I started this podcast even before the quarantine, but more so now, because right now, this is taking me away from like I'm stuck here. Like I have something to do today. It's Saturday. It's podcast day. So yeah, man. I appreciate you, man, for coming on here.
Dude, thanks, man. Yeah, it's for me. It's just like any time I get a chance to talk to like another professional in the field, it's always cool. Just, you know, sharing perspectives and fucking.
I'm a professional. The other cool thing is I got this wired through here, so I can
do shit like this.
Yeah, that's rad. I was trying to figure that out when I was watching you do the loop in the beginning, is how you're affecting your audio, but so that thing affects audio.
It's an input control, so you can be like, yeah, bitch, and shit.
That's rad.
It's pretty dumb. It's a lot of fun, man. And that's the other thing too, is now that I've I'll do like a 4-hour stream on Twitch on a Wednesday, and it just forces me to, like you were saying about scheduling your songwriting, whatever, it forces me to fucking sit down and practice this thing. And also I'm practicing my guitar and my voice. So it's like, I wouldn't be doing that otherwise. Like I would be fucking chasing money, or I don't know. Like if I was on tour, you know, I'd be driving the van all day. Or, you know, so it's good. I think taking the romance out of, you know, you think that most songs are written by a guy like fucking sitting on a bar, like drinking his Jack Daniels, and then he gets an idea and then he stumbles out to his car and strums a couple of chords and he comes up with this amazing song like in the moment. But no, it takes discipline.
Dude, yeah, I that was one of the first things I figured out, like getting into like being in a band and doing all this shit, is it's not like in the movies for 99% of people. It's like if you get really lucky and you have that like major industry success, then yeah, maybe it can be like in the movies. But for the rest of us, it's just a slow grind, and it's a matter of it's got to be about the work and whether or not you love it. It's not about the party. It's not about the fucking anything. It's about the music, you know.
I remember when we put out our first record in 2002. I was like 19, 20 years old. And I was just like, yeah, dude, it's like fucking, this is the beginning, man. We're going to put out this record and then we're going to be like fucking large. Like this is going to blow us the fuck up. I had like, that was my legitimate thought process. I was like, dude, this is it. And then, you know, it's fucking 18 years later and I'm on the internet, like in Long Beach, like in my room, just making fart noises and hoping I get enough donations so I could pay my fucking bills, you know?
Yeah.
But it's been a cool ride because, and it for a while it was about the party, but when once I stopped drinking in 2008, then I started getting really disciplined with the touring and taking like an album cycle and stuff really seriously. And I did all the right things, but the one X factor with my musical endeavor is that my music is it's alienating in a way. It's not easily digestible. It doesn't fit in a box, you know? Mm-hmm. And I remember being real bitter for a long time, being like, oh, dude, but our band's sick. Like, what, you know, why is this? And then you start to, like, look at things in a very realistic manner and be like, okay, well, where do we fit in? Like, what is marketable about this? Like, where, like, are we part of a scene? And the answer to all those questions were no, no, and no. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, like, we're lucky in that, like, you know, we have like a scene, even if we're kind of like a sore thumb in the scene. Like, you know, like when we started, this is my first band that I've been in, and like my only band, and like when we kind of like stumbled into the whole reggae rock scene, you know, even that was like when we started off, that wasn't really what I wanted to do, but that was kind of, we were like a really bad band at first, and that's what we could do, which is fucking easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, me as like a guitar player, just like I was very, like, I'm still very limited, but like then I was very, very limited. So fucking playing just that skank and singing, you know, it was easy as fuck. We were a 3-piece for a long time, so it was easy to do that and tour. And you know, to this day, like, as we've gotten better, and you know, we have like we do like a lot of different shit, but we still have that foundation in the reggae rock world, which is, we're very fortunate in that there's a lot happening there. So it's created a lot of opportunities for us, and it's made a possibility to make a good fan base that's come from that. And so, you know, like personally, I'm, you know, like we do whatever the fuck we want musically, but I always catch myself if I'm getting too weird with shit. I force myself, like, I'd say like every like 7 or 8 songs that I write that are like self-indulgent, I try to force myself to write something that I know is going to do well in that world, you know?
That's smart.
Yeah.
I got these buddies that are in this band, and they're what you call like a psychobilly band. They got, you know, they sing about dead chicks and like got upright bass and the greaser hairdos and stuff, but it's all kind of like, you know what I'm talking about, psychobilly?
You know Amigo the Devil? You ever heard of him?
Yeah, of course. I saw him before he really popped in some bar. I was on tour in Virginia Beach. And, you know, right along the beach, there's Shaka's.
Yeah, well, that Shaka's is gone now.
That sucks. That guy was a nice dude. I remember, I forget what that dude's name was.
Don Dorner.
Yeah, that dude was nice to us. We played there.
He's got another spot he opened in Norfolk called Chico's. You should hit him up next time you come through.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the live shows. But I remember we had a day off, and we were just hanging out on the beach, and this girl I knew was like, let's go to the show. And it was at this place, is at the tiny little bar that we played at before called the Joint or the Rib or what's that?
The Box, the BOXX.
No, it's right on Ocean. It's like literally like that road that goes north and south along the coast. What the fuck was that bar called? It's still there. We just played there in 2018.
Dude, I fucking love Virginia Beach. Love it.
It's tight. Like, after being out in San Diego, like once I started traveling a whole lot, and I spent a lot of time in San Diego and on some of these coastal towns, I don't remember going to any like coastal town on the East Coast and having it feel like Southern California.
Yeah, exactly. It feels to me like a lot like Long Beach, not much like San Diego is even like too bougie for the Virginia Beach vibe, because it has that like punk rock like pizza bar vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? And,
yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, you know?
Yeah.
Long Beach is definitely that. Believe me. The day after we moved into our new spot down here, there's a park right outside of our place, and the cops were fucking everywhere, and I was driving the van back home, and I'm just like, what happened? They're like, someone got killed, and I'm just like, oh, okay, because I lived in Long Beach before, but I never like it was like there was like 2 gunshot deaths like literally like 30 feet outside of my front door, like as we were moving into this spot. But it's been real chill since the quarantine.
Yeah,
it's been pretty chill. But you know where you played Cali Roots last year, right?
We played it in 2014. We were supposed to play it, like, I would be there this weekend. Like right now, I would be there.
That's what I'm saying, because that park where they throw the Cali Roots is like a 10-minute bike ride. Like, we go over a bridge.
You're talking about One Love.
Oh, One Love. Okay.
Yeah, we played One Love this year.
Okay.
But Cali, Monterey.
Okay, but okay, I got it confused. Yeah, One Love, because that was at that park, like on the concrete. It says One Love. It's spray painted. There's a tag.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's the festival you guys played.
Yep.
It's pretty much like, yeah, it's like 10-15 minute bike ride from where I'm at right now. But
it's crazy thinking about it, because we actually like flew out to do that festival, and it was like mid-February, and it was like right when all this shit was hitting the fan. And I remember seeing people on the plane like in masks and shit. I was like, that's fucking stupid.
Oh, so that was recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't, like, the fear didn't really hit me, and I've told this story like 900 times on the podcast, but we were on tour. We were on a short run. Like, the run was like 6 dates with the band Guttermouth, and we're on the West Coast, and I forget what city we were in. But we were maybe in Santa Rosa, like up near the Bay, I think, and we got the news that they canceled the NBA. And that's when I was like, fuck. Because if you're gonna cancel something that brings in that much capital, then this must be a real fucking thing. As soon as I got that news, I started panicking. I hit my girlfriend up. I'm like, we have to fucking go east. We have to go where there's fresh water. We're gonna run out of water. I got full like fucking panic mode, like end of the world mode.
Right when I got home, I spent the first 2 weeks trying to buy a shotgun, and they were sold out everywhere. And I don't like guns, man, but it was just like a matter of like, I wanted one in case I needed it. Like, but yeah, for me, it was when I found out they were canceling South by Southwest. I was like, oh man, this shit's starting to get weird.
Yeah, it was all in the same day. They canceled the NBA. And the night before they canceled South by and Coachella, and then. And then we, like, for some reason, our tour kept happening. Like, they didn't cancel. Like, the day before they closed all wineries in California, we played a fucking winery. And it was crazy because no one was wearing masks. Everyone was moshing and shit. And the headlining band was, the lead dude, Mark from Guttermouth, was, like, making out with some chick. And they were pouring wine all over each other. And they were just, like, drinking out of the same wine glass. You know, it was. And then the next day, as we were driving back to LA, the last show got canceled, but every single, what the fuck are those things? What's it called? It's like a billboard. It has words on it as you're driving.
Marquee.
Yeah, it's like a marquee of sorts. But every one of them just said, stay safe, COVID-19. And it was just like, I went into a Walmart that morning. I remember immediately panic hitting me. And no one had masks on, but everyone was fucking scrambling. All the toilet paper was gone. All the food was gone. All the water was gone. And I'm just like,
yeah, dude. It was fucking weird. I was in denial, man. Like I just was like, there's no fucking way that you can shut down an economy. You can't shut down a global economy. Like, what? Shut the fuck up. Like, that's not happening. And then I went through all these stages of like, that's not happening. Like, first it was like, my tour's not getting canceled. Like, that's not happening. I might lose a few shows and might be weird, but that's not happening. And then tour got canceled. And then at that point I was like, well, I'm gonna just play a bunch of bar gigs at home. And then those all got shut down. And it was just been like slowly but surely like, holy shit, like this is fucking happening. Like, this is crazy. But I mean, you know, it just is what it is. And at a certain point I accepted it, and I was like, I'm gonna treat this as an opportunity. Like, what kind of where I settled with this was that, like, this is an opportunity this is a hard reset on a lot of shit, but especially the music industry.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, there's like Paradigm, like the booking agency.
Yeah.
They laid off fucking 90% of their staff, bro. Like,
oof.
Dude, everything is gonna be different. Like, there's gonna be bands that disappear, there's gonna be fucking venues that disappear, and then there's gonna be people that come out. Like, the momentum that people had coming into this is not gonna be the momentum people have coming out of it. So it's like, it's a huge opportunity to like double down and figure out a way to become relevant to people. And like, for me, like, you're doing the same thing, but like, for me, I was like, I'm gonna fucking essentially be people's entertainment during quarantine. Like, I'm gonna be in people's faces. I'm gonna write and release as much music as possible. I'm gonna perform as much music as possible on streams, and I'm just gonna fucking be there. And I'm gonna come out of this thing on top. Like, I'm gonna make this work out for me, as opposed to it being a hindrance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good positive attitude to have about yada yada. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, I figure it's either that or just have a pity party for myself, and it's like, that's not really productive, you know.
That's what I did for the first 2 weeks. All I did the first 2 weeks was watch news. And I told myself, because you know what was weird? And I've said this before, is when everyone was going live, like the first couple weeks, and it was wild to me because I know who my friends are, and I know which of them are working musicians. And then all of a sudden, there's just all these yahoos like fucking just strumming their guitars and being like, da, da, da. And I'm like, I didn't even know that motherfucker played music. It was crazy. Not to sound like all elitist, but it was weird because I didn't want to add to the plethora of people being like, look at me, like using this situation as a way to get attention. But then it just got to the point where I got really bored, and I'm like, okay, well, I have to still be me. And I have to fucking pay my bills because I called up all my creditors and I got extensions from some of them, but the landlord was straight up like, no, like we need full rent. And I'm like, okay, it's time to get to work. And I started figuring out OBS and how to live stream and how to get decent sound and yada, yada, yada. So yeah, 2 week pity party and then a 3 week fucking intensive course in how to stream and have it not suck.
Yeah, for me it wasn't ever about attention. It was just about work and like and like essentially my whole adult life I put into this thing that like, you know, we were having the best year that we've ever had. Like we were on this huge thing and like then it got taken away from me and I was like I just, you know, my pity party, honestly, we were in Texas when everything happened and then we drove 20 hours straight from Houston get home. I had my pity party and my freak out on that drive home. Yeah. But that's when I really you know, for the first probably like 10 hours. And then I figured out, I was like, fuck this, man. Like I'm bigger than this. Like I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. And like the first thing I did, like I was fortunate in that there was no learning curve for me. It was streaming because I've been doing this for a few years at this point. Like what I was going to do is like, I'm going to fucking, I like, okay. So like earlier this year, I bought like a really nice acoustic guitar to have at home specifically for recording. Like I was going to use it for recording and other studio sessions because I didn't own one, you know, but like it was really the last piece I needed to record acoustic stuff in my house. So I was like, what I'm going to do is, so I'm into folk music. Like I love folk music, and Woody Guthrie, his first record he put out was called, the Dust Bowl Ballads. So he grew up in the Oklahoma Panhandle during the Great Depression and the American Dust Bowl. So it's that album is largely regarded as the first concept album. It was all about life in the American Dust Bowl, which like it was pretty fucking horrific. Like you had similar situations where people were dying from pneumonia that was caused by inhaling dust because they would just have these crazy fucking dust clouds which would engulf entire cities and just it was just insane like how horrific it was. So
what year was this when he was writing these songs?
1930s.
Oh, okay.
So like that's really the whole foundation of folk music is like writing about, you know, societal, like what it's like living through like moments of historical significance. So like that's what this is to me. It's like this is going to define even a once in a generation thing. This is like a once in fucking every 100 years kind of shit. So what I did for the first 6 weeks is, you know, I really, as an exercise in both like production and songwriting, I wrote, recorded, and released a song a week, about just all about this, like what this has been like for me, you know, which was really cool. It gave me something to focus on. It took up a lot of my mental time, so I couldn't just sit around and think about all the shit that was going wrong. I was thinking about the songs, you know, and like the arrangements and shit.
Yeah. That's awesome that you were able to jump over the hump of the freak out, like with that initial drive back home. You know what I mean? Because it took me days, like it took me weeks. I was really, but I have mental problems, so.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm on this, like, you know, I struggle pretty heavily with depression and anxiety.
Me too. I think a lot of I think it's just a given. I think if you talk to anyone that's crazy enough to be like, okay, I'm not going to get a real job and I'm going to be a creative for my adult life. I think you have to be a little bit crazy to even take that leap, bro. You know?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I started taking antidepressants about 1.5 years, 2 years. It'll be 2 years in October, and that shit changed my life, man. Like,
is it helping you?
Oh my God, dude. I take like the lowest dosage possible of it's like Lexapro. It's a generic form of Lexapro.
Okay, I was on Zoloft for 6 years, but it gave me terrible side effects.
So all it does for me is it's like, I mean, my depression kind of manifested in the way that like I would obsess over things that like I was like, things would come up, like an issue would come up, and instead of dealing with the issue, I would play out like 12 steps down the path. Like, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And then I would like curl up in a ball, and I would lose like a day or 2 days or a fucking week, and I would shut down. So like, this allows me, it's just prevented that, like that mania, you know what I mean? Of like going down. And other than that, I haven't really felt any side effects. I'm curious because I quit drinking last December, and I'm curious how much of that, like if I was to go off of my medicine, like what that would do for that, because I feel like it had to be tied in, because I mean, alcohol is just a fucking depressant, you know?
It definitely makes my anxiety and my depression like way worse. And it doesn't necessarily make it worse while I'm drunk. And that's what I noticed about my drinking behavioral patterns, especially when I was mixing booze with the antidepressants. I would be having like the time of my life, but then I would black out, and I would have to hear the next day, and I would have these like crazy panic attacks where I thought I needed to be hospitalized, where I thought I was dying and whatnot. And then I would get a call. I'd like be on tour or whatever, and I thought I was having a good time when I was blacked out, but I get a call from my girlfriend at the time. She said, you were talking about killing yourself. So it got to the point where even when I was drunk and having a good time, it was deceptive, because I was just as in pain and sick when I was blacked out, if not worse. Like I was on the precipice of actually hurting myself. And then there's the whole like urinating the bed thing, and I was just a sloppy fucking drunk. Every time I drank, I would black out. It got to the point when I was like 27 years old. I was like every night on tour, like I would say 4 or 5 out of 7 nights on tour was a complete blackout.
Yeah.
And I was like 250 pounds, and I was mixing the antidepressants with the booze, and it says in big letters on it says in big letters on the fucking bottle. It says, "Do not mix this with alcoholic beverages." And I just was like, gunk, 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 and I don't know. But what was weird is when I got off the booze, that's when I started really noticing the side effects. But I was on Zoloft. I don't know if Lexapro is like an SSRI. I don't know what the side effects are, but with Zoloft, it was very noticeable side effects that kind of like made things worse for me.
Yeah. So Lexapro is just a serotonin boost. I feel like Zoloft is way more of a mood thing. I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But
tell me about your knowledge of pharmaceutical science, man.
It's slim to none, man. I know fucking opioids are the devil, and that's about it. And
all I know is anecdotal. It's pretty much like, this is how I felt when I was on Zoloft. So I can't speak on Lexapro. I can speak on benzodiazepine because I used to recreationally eat a bunch of benzos, and I know that being on benzos is great, but once you get off of them, you're in a shit mood and you're a total cunt, and you just want to go back on them. You know what I mean? So, and it was like that with me, and I used to eat a lot of painkillers too, hydrocodone. I never was a big oxy guy. I couldn't get my hands on any of that shit, but I was definitely like, there was a time in the late 2000s where there was a lot of Vicodin going around, and I would even it was funny because when you quit drinking, people are like, "Oh, congratulations on being sober." I hear that all the time, and I have to like pull people aside and be like, "I'm not sober." And I even had a whole podcast about it where I'm just like, "I'm not sober." It's like I do cannabis, I smoke DMT every once in a while. I'll eat mushrooms. You know,
yeah,
but
that's right. That too is, man. Like I still don't like smoke weed all the time. I've definitely been smoking like way more pot, like since I've been sober, and I'm actually like falling back in love with it. Like for a long time, I didn't. For a long time, like I had cut the weed out as one of the sources of my anxiety, because I was, like there was a period like when you're like 16, 17, you're smoking, you're just like fucking blunt, like see how fucking just blazed you can get, and that's not necessarily, you're getting fucked up. You're off of, it's like chugging a bottle, So there's a lot of middle ground between that and not smoking. But, I started having I really started having problems with anxiety really around the time I started touring, which makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Because like when we were first touring, it's like you're going to these crazy parts of the country you've never been to. You're sleeping on strangers' floors. You're driving around in a vehicle that's unreliable, and you don't have any money. So it's like there's a lot of fodder for anxiety there. So I cut out the pot around that time. Then I started reintroducing it when we really started going to California, and that was like when I started getting educated on like indicas versus sativas and just all the different strains and this, that, and the other thing. And I've had for the last
I'm an indica guy. I can't handle the sativa because it makes my anxiety crazy. Let's say I didn't consume caffeine, I probably could do a sativa and have that be my coffee. But the coffee definitely. I'm like maybe 300 milligrams of caffeine a day. At a time I was like 9. It was bad.
Dude, I'm disgusting with coffee. I drink so much coffee. Yeah, cheers to that.
Yeah. This is actually, I don't know if like YouTube is going to block this for this, but whatever. And so, yeah, I'm actually drinking a Monster right now, which I don't do all the time, but I'm being bad today.
Yeah. I drink, that's like one of my routines at this point before I go on stage is I have like a Red Bull. Just get that kind of boost,
Yeah, get your fucking weight up. Get ready to plow. That's what's up. But I remember as far as the anxiety, we first started regionally touring in 2005, and I remember before I even knew what anxiety was, I remember sitting in the passenger seat while the other dude was driving, and I was just like waiting to die. And I wasn't even smoking weed at the time, and I wasn't on any depressants. I didn't know what it was. I just remember like looking at the highway, and we were driving at night, and just thinking like, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. And I would tell myself that over and over again, because for some reason I was convinced at age like 25 or something, I'm just like, you're gonna die young. Like I thought I would be part of that like 27-year-old club or whatever. I don't know why I convinced myself of that. Because now I'm fucking gonna be 40
in
depression. A year. I don't know what it was, but once I got past 27 and I got sober, and then I got to 30, and then it started to get to the point where my anxiety lessened a little bit because I'm just like, all right, well, I've made it this far. I'm not young anymore, so I guess when I go, I go. Yeah. But
I remember I was super surprised when I made it to 30. I mean, like at this point, like. I was definitely in the same boat where I was like, there's no, like, I was living like I wasn't going to make it past a certain point. It wasn't a fatalistic thing. I just never thought I would, and then you do, and you're like, holy shit. All right. I got to get my shit together. I think it was probably around the time I met my wife that's when I really pulled my head out of my ass.
It helps to have a good partner, and, especially, I can't speak from experience, but like bringing a child into this world, at least I saw with my brother when I became an uncle, it's like, all right, it's time to take your life way more seriously, because there's a lot of shit riding on what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like my whole life at this point is, like music is like my craft and I love it and it gives me purpose. But like on the other end of it, like everything I do is just trying to create sustainability, like out of this life that I've chosen, which is like why I try to be like really pragmatic with my art, and try to find different ways to make money and just make it sustainable for the long run. But at the same time, while being able to do it on my own terms.
Yeah, and that's a whole DIY mentality, and that I don't know if you the Insane Clown Posse. I'm sure you know of them. I don't know how much of their music you ingest, but everything that they've done since day one. They had a couple albums that were on major labels, but I want to say since like 2000 or 2001, they've had everything they do is every aspect of their production is in-house.
Yep.
Whether it's the video making, it's the recording of the music, it's the merchandise. They own everything, and they're able to like put their kids through college with that and own nice houses in the suburbs with that,
Yeah, man. Like DIY doesn't mean you have to be broke. You know what I mean? It just means you're doing it a fucking certain way. Like, dude, I want to fucking headline Red Rocks, man. Like, I got big dreams and big aspirations, but like, that doesn't mean I want to do it on my own terms. You know, I want to do it a certain way.
Yeah, you don't want to have to suck a corporate teat. You want to be you the whole time.
Yeah, I don't want to dress a certain way. I don't want to write a certain way. I don't want to I want to, you know, like, and I think I've done a good job of that, of like finding our audience and then like making that work and you know, creating things that they want and having good, I feel like that's what the whole thing's about, is just finding your niche and then building your world and your niche, you know, and that's my whole philosophy these days.
Yeah, and just from an outside perspective, it seems as though even years ago, like a few years, because we did that one show with you back in 2014, and even then I caught a taste of it, because I remember it was your management or something, or maybe it was Joey Harcum that hit me up and said, what bands should we play with in Detroit? And there's no SoCal reggae anything in Detroit. There's bands, there aren't any local bands that like play that style of music. There's maybe one. What are those guys' names? They're friends of mine.
Roland Zen now, isn't that? I think that's who we played with last time we were there.
I don't know them, but we're talking years ago, like 2014.
Yeah,
they were,
sure.
So we ended up playing that show, and I remember we were a little behind schedule, and you guys had just got done, and like we were headlining, but I remember I remember like one more song because I just wanted to stay on schedule, so everything, you know, stay on schedule. But there was people in the audience that like bombarded me, and they're just like, you gotta let him play one more, and I was just like, I was like, well, like even in 2014, you had rabid fans that didn't want to take "This Is Our Last Song" for an answer, and shit. Like even like a year or 2 years after that, you guys were just on the road constantly, and you see I mean, what are the Spotify numbers now? It's like, it's really impressive.
I think we were at 375 this morning.
375,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like a lot of that is just like algorithmic shit and like learning how to work that system, which is, I mean, that's like we started working with a cool label, like an indie label, in the last 2 years, and I mean the whole reason for that is like they have playlist connections. Like that's that whole fucking world is, man. It's just like figuring out how to crack the playlist nut, which is, everybody's trying to do it, and it all comes down to relationships, you know. So, and I feel that's not exactly DIY, because we're not like releasing our own shit, but at the same time, it's like we're working with people who are getting our music heard and making us money, which is what it's ultimately the whole thing, you know. Like I feel good about that.
I mean, I could tell you from signing a couple indie record labels, like a couple indie deals where they didn't even know about a playlist or an algorithm. Their business model was let's put out fucking CDs. And this is like back in 2013 when Spotify was a little bit newer, but it's like, if you're going to do business with someone, if you're going to give them a cut of your revenue, you have to make sure that they're going to be benefiting you and not just with like getting you as an opener for certain bands. Like you need to, like, it needs to be substantial for it to be worth it, because you can do everything on your own these days. Like if you're going to be with a label, they better fucking be doing like getting you on playlists, like getting that music out there. It's cool that you found that.
Yeah, man. It's all about long-term growth, and it's like, I mean, their relationships are mostly like in our world, which is that's cool, you know. Like, you know, we're starting to write for a new record, and it's going to be like the record we're putting out now is like, it's very stripped down, and like it's all like acoustic instruments for the most part. Like there's drums on it, but it's like acoustic guitars and electric piano and organs, and there's like no synths or anything. And that's cool because it lends itself very well to the reggae playlist, you know, and it has like an Americana vibe to it. But the shit we're writing right now, it's all like fucking distorted guitars and fucking, almost got like a 90s like alt rock vibe to it. So that's going to be a whole nother approach of like figuring out how to release that and get the most out of those songs, you know, because that might require different connections, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
There's a couple things I wanted to touch on because we've actually, I don't know how much time you have, and we've been rolling for like 55 minutes now, But first of all, there was a Detroit band, a punk rock band, and they were around in like the late '90s, and they
all the Bumpin Uglies, right?
Yeah, do you know about them?
I only know about them because like once every 6 months, someone will be like, "Man, you motherfuckers aren't from Detroit. Like, what's up?" Like, like yeah. Like, there was actually another one. There was a hardcore band out of Oregon that used to play with Sublime. That like people asked me if we're related to them. I was like, dude, I was in elementary school when this band was active, so no.
Yeah, you probably were younger when the cool part about the punk rock Bumpin Uglies from Detroit is that mid-set, they would throw their instruments down and they would kick the shit out of each other. They would like make each other bleed, like like pro wrestling style, like fucking.
They had a wrestling. I remember seeing that in some of the comments. There was a wrestling stick aspect of it.
It's yeah. It was pretty fucking cool. Like just being a young shithead in the Detroit punk scene and seeing all that.
Oh yeah,
was definitely. But yeah, I just want to know if there's any blowback from that. I assume you guys are far enough along where you got everything like registered and whatnot, like the trade in place and all that.
Yeah, there was never any blowback or anything. There's definitely questions asked, but it's like we're just different groups of shithead with the same dumb idea for a band name. I mean, dude, if I could go back over and come up with a new band name, I would do it in a fucking second, man. We've had so many headaches over the band name. But at the same time, oh my God, yeah, it's not an issue anymore. It's still an issue. Honestly, there's a few festivals that like we could have been booked on this year. There's one festival, and I'm not going to name actually in specifics, but that we would have been booked on this year, but they didn't want our name on their flyer because it's kind of like a family vibe.
Oops.
Yeah, fuck them. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, that's the other thing I wanted to touch on. You just reminded me. Okay, so are you in Annapolis right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So friend of the band Joey Harcum, I know through the Grill Lincolns, and he got Downtown Brown booked opening for him at Union Jacks.
Yeah, I've heard this story.
Oh, have you heard this story? So. Yeah. So we don't do anything different than we normally do, and the management at Union Jacks was like, they gave us a thumbs up. They're like, okay, Downtown Brown's gonna open, that's cool, or whatever. So we show up and we do our thing, and we do what we normally do, which is get on stage and play funky weird music and rap about gay people and just the drummer's got his shirt off, and something happened where we managed to. There managed to be just a bunch of patrons that like were highly offended, and the management was highly offended by what we did, and people left, and they were yelling at Joey, and they were coming up to us. There were actual servers from Union Jacks that came up to us. Like, I lost a lot of money because of you motherfuckers, and they're yelling at our drummer, put a shirt on, this is a family restaurant. We're just like, we've been doing this for fucking over a decade, like just doing the same shit, which is just we get up and we make a bunch of weird noises and people smile and dance sometimes and have fun. And but if for some reason that night they were yelling at Joey, they're just like, why did you bring these fuckers in? And Joey, like, bless his heart, he said, I showed you links of what the band was. You didn't check out. So he just like flipped it on them. And they're just like, oh, robble. And they still paid us. They still fed us and everything. But they got like super pissed off. But shouts out to Joey Harcum for defending the honor of Downtown Brown that night. He's like, yeah, I sent them links. Like, they know they could have checked it out if they wanted to and deemed it was too offensive or whatever. But
yeah, Joey Harcum's a saint, man. He's a rare breed.
I'll always remember that night. So whenever I hear Annapolis, Maryland, or like, cause I know you still gig at that place all the time.
Oh yeah, man. That's like the only spot to play around here for like a band that's like doing a club show. It's a lot of bars, but
the management straight up was just like, we lost patrons because of your filth. And I was just like, we didn't even do anything weird. Like I've gotten really weird before, where like audience members have tried to fight me before, and when you're getting heckled, but everyone was having a good time. It's like the only people that left were like people in the back that were, I don't know, they were at a business meeting or something, but it was like 9 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, shouts out to Joey Harcum for just being like, well, you said yes. That was the shit.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there's one more thing I want to talk to you about. Oh, okay, so Downtown Brown got this gig in 2019 where we got hired to be HR from Bad Brains' opening band / also backing him up. So I had to learn how to play all this reggae music. And
my drummer actually did that gig in a different band.
Okay, cool. What your current drummer?
Yeah, TJ.
Yeah, he's the shit. Like I was watching some Instagram videos of him and like just at sound check and shit. Like you have a really solid band. Your keyboardist, because when we play with you, you're just a 3-piece. But whoever that keyboardist is,
well, not only is he like keyboard's his second instrument, he's a fucking shredder, monster shredder on guitar. So we've been doing and we've incorporated a lot of like harmonized guitar shit at this point. And
oh wow!
Everyone in my band is like so better at music than me. It's awesome. Like that's always been my philosophy. Is like I've always written the songs and done all the business. So it's like if you're gonna be in the band, you need to be like significantly better at music than I am.
Well, that just makes you better by proxy, you know?
Yeah, that's the idea. Is like I'm trying to get as good as I can, you know. So it's like you just grow quicker when you're playing with people who are out of your league talent wise, you know.
Yeah, I play with some fucking like the dude that I play bass with out here is he went to some fucking music college and knows all these things about like arpeggiated chordal modes and shit that I know nothing about. I'm just like I learned by like playing Metallica riffs when I was in middle school. But back to the HR gig thing. Oh sweet, I just got a thing. Mrs. Rogers. Oh, this is the same person that commented earlier, Mrs. Rogers on Twitch.
That's probably Stephanie Rogers, I would imagine.
She says, Brandon, I thought you were 43.
Oh yeah, I just turned 34 a couple weeks ago, and we were doing a live stream, and yeah, it's definitely Stephanie Rogers. She had a cake. She had our crew bring me a cake, and they were fucking with me. So instead of 34, they had like 43, like you old fuck, and all this just giving me shit about my age.
Was she on that tour with Joey and you back in 2014?
No.
Who was that? That was Sarah something.
Sarah, that was Miss Sarah. She was in Pasadena at the time, and she was singing backup vocals.
Okay, we did a gig with her before. What's up? Oh, she said I was not. But have we met? She's on it. Hi, Sarah. I think we've met. I'm pretty sure we're Facebook friends. Anyway, okay, so back to the HR thing. So I got sponsored by some guitar company that is based out of like Southeast Michigan, Toledo area, and the guitar company guy came to the Detroit HR gig, and was like filming sound check, and then he posted it on Facebook, and then it's funny because employees of his guitar company started just like dogging me hard. Like it was during sound check, so I had shorts on, you know, I wasn't putting, you know, sound check. We're just getting the sound levels. But this, I'm trying to tell the story. My brain's kind of taking a fart, but homeboy said, yeah, Downtown Brown backing up HR. And this one dude that works for the guitar company just started going off. He's like, how the fuck did that happen? He's like, blah, 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 blah. And he's just started like getting super pissed off. And then someone in the comment section was like, well, what is Downtown Brown? And then his rebuttal was white guy funk. And I've addressed this a million times. Downtown Brown, like saying we play funk music, because we play funk music mixed with all types of different shit. But I'll admit 1,000 times over that we are guests in the house of funk, you know. And I know that you've addressed that in the past with your song White Boy Reggae. And I just wanted, like, I'm pretty sure you're sick of talking about this, but I just want to know if you wanted to weigh in on what it's like being a guest in the house of reggae and how you handle fucking people running their mouths about that kind of shit.
Dude, I just don't give a fuck, honestly. Like, I'm going to make the kind of music I want to make. Like, I don't even really think of us as a reggae band. Like, we don't play, like, roots reggae. We play, like, sublime reggae, which is, like, skanks over hip-hop beats and fucking, you know, like, pop punk and shit like that. And it's like, dude, anyone who wants to assign a race to music can just quite frankly suck my dick, because, like, I just don't give a fuck. I truly don't. Like, if I want to do something and I have the ability to do it, and the tools in my toolbox to create something, then I'm gonna fucking create it. And it's like, you don't, like, no one owns art, and it's fucking just ridiculous and what's the word, polarizing to even insinuate that like that people shouldn't create something that they want to create because of racial shit. Like, it's just all that does is further divide us as the human species.
Because I remember in third grade, do you remember the video where it was Public Enemy and Anthrax and they do Bring the Noise? Do you remember seeing that? Like,
I don't remember that. No.
Okay, well, it was before rap rock and it was before nu metal, and
I was gonna say, is that responsible for Limp Bizkit? Is that video what got us Limp Bizkit?
Probably. A lot of people would argue Rage Against the Machine directly influenced that as well.
I've had this argument with people that fucking Rage Against the Machine is just Limp Bizkit with political fucking lyrics, and people don't like hearing that. But
it's not far off. I actually, like, there was just this dude Finn McKenty. He has a podcast and he has a pretty cool YouTube channel. But he made this whole little big long video about how Rage Against the Machine is directly responsible for Limp Bizkit, and the bass player of Rage Against the Machine has actually publicly apologized for Limp Bizkit because he addressed that it was because of them that happened. But I just remember when I was a little kid, I was big into Public Enemy, and then they did this song in '91. It was the album was Apocalypse '91, The Enemy Strikes Black, and I remember just thinking it was the coolest fucking shit I ever heard in my entire life. And I wasn't thinking along the lines of race. I just remember just being moved by what it was. And I feel like so much of the music that influenced me, like I wasn't deducting in my head, like, all right, like which culture is this derived from? I like everything about me was just a hodgepodge of shit. And so then I'm like, I love funk music. Like when I was in high school, I got really into Curtis Mayfield. I got really into P-Funk. I got really into Prince, and I got really into Isaac Hayes. I bought a wah-wah pedal. I watched. I got obsessed with blaxploitation cinema. I would like worship black culture. I was like really into hip hop, and I never. My mindset was never like, oh, am I allowed to do this? It was just like, yeah, you're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want, because that's just, I don't know, it was the late 90s. Like, there was no stigma attached to it. So it's weird to me that this far into the game, after 20 years of paying my dues and getting a gig, like playing guitar for HR, which is a huge honor and something I took very seriously, and I practiced a lot to make sure I didn't fuck it up, to have some dude just be like, well, these guys are just a white guy funk. So this is my rebuttal to him. I went on the comment thread and I said, and now we play white guy reggae, ! And then he didn't say anything after that. So, but yeah, I kind of wanted, like, obviously it kind of hit a button a little bit with you, like, but you wouldn't even consider your band to be like roots reggae. It's just, it's punk mixed with metal and mixed with it's a hodgepodge.
Yeah, it's just we just fucking make music, man, and it's like, I'm gonna continue making whatever kind of music as long as I'm making music, and it's like you either like it or you don't, and I don't know. It's like, I mean, you get people who argue with you about the race aspect of it, and then you get people who argue with you about the religious aspect of it. That's another thing too, is like about reggae being Rasta music and shit. It's like, dude, I don't fucking believe in that, and it's like I still don't care. Like, it makes my butt move, you know what I mean? So it's like I want to do it. Like, it makes me feel good.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, the shit gets my dick hard. It's just like, yeah. And then when people ask me, they're like, well, why don't you like this? You know, I'm trying to think of what band everyone's really into. Them. Like, why aren't you into Tool? Doesn't get my dick hard. I'm not saying it's bad. Just doesn't get my dick hard. You know, I appreciate what Tool does. You know, I wish I could put mathematical equations into my music, but I'm not that smart. I don't know. Someone just said I pole vault to Downtown Brown, whatever that means. Is that a sexual thing? Because if it's sexual, then yes. It's weird. It's weird because normally when I do a podcast, there's not like running commentary. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I never put that much thought into it. And then but it's weird because it's 2020 and like you and I are both balls deep in having done this for a really long time. We've made it our lives, and there's people that, not that it even matters, but I just wanted to kind of see how you weighed in on that and how you deal with that specific comment? Because I know you wrote a whole song about it.
Yeah, I mean, just, at this point in my life, just categorically across the board, anyone who really has unasked for criticism could just fuck off. I don't really care. I don't have the energy for it.
Do you guys perform that song live, or is it just kind of something that's like a deeper cut these days?
That's a hit. People love that song.
Okay, cool.
So, I actually, like, when I wrote that song, it was supposed to be like funny, and I just started off with that premise, and it just turned into like a 3-minute rant with no hook, you know. And then it's just...
that's good, man. It has to be cathartic. I mean, as an artist, to get those emotions out, and it almost takes the public to push your buttons in order to, you know, to get amped up enough to fucking write about something.
Yeah, definitely.
The fucking public. But yeah, so Downtown Brown plays white guy funk, and every once in a while white guy reggae. And the other thing to touch on too, it is very weird backing up HR, because every single song he does is about Rasta, is about Jah, Rastafari, and I don't know anything about any of that shit. And I hope that doesn't lose me the gig, because we're supposed to do more shit together. But I figure it's like I'm a hired gun, and I'm just here to honor the legacy of HR, you know, and play guitar decently and not fuck up, you know, and sing as well as I can. But it's weird being on stage singing about God for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Especially when I don't necessarily know what I believe in as far as any of that shit is concerned. Here we go. Uglies Nation is the best fan group ever. Yeah, so it's weird. Like, it's weird. When you said earlier in the interview that you're kind of like did you say the sore thumb of that whole scene? Is that you truly feel that way? Like you don't fit, but you sort of fit?
I definitely think that. I mean, I think we're a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, because we just do our own thing. But, you know, we don't. I mean, for starters, I don't sing with an accent. So, like, that's like, there's a lot of bands that do that. And,
what, the San Diego Rasta accent?
Yeah, just a fucking fake ass Jamaican accent, man. Like, I sing. I'm a singer. Dude.
Is
that
a thing?
Yo, fuck yeah, dude. It's a thing. Like, I spent a lot of time. Like, that's like more than anything. And like, I spent a lot of work, like, learning how to sing, like being a good singer. Like, I wanted to sing like Brandon Boyd, you know, like I wanted to be a fucking singer, or like Freddie Mercury. And there's just no room in that for me for singing with a fake accent, you know. I don't know. We don't try to do anything other than be who we are and make music. And like, there's a lot of bands that approach it with like as a fashion thing, or as like a fucking I don't know, man, just shit I just don't have the energy and I don't care about. So we don't really care about any of that other than playing music at the highest level. And it's kind of weird. And then I write belligerent songs too about whatever the fuck I'm thinking. And then it made it difficult for us for a long time trying to climb the ladder of our scene. But at this point, we've done the hard part, and we still are kind of like a sore thumb, but we're definitely getting way more of the recognition that I think we deserve.
Well, I think that's badass that you didn't have to adhere to some of the tropes, like singing with an accent you don't have. I'm so removed from that scene, I don't know, but it blows my fucking mind. That's actually a thing. There's people singing.
Yeah, it's not everyone at all, but it's definitely something. You know, you can go in and just play very safe music, very safe roots reggae music with like a dub element to it, and talk about. I mean, dude, it's like there's a reason why like roots reggae is like it's always gonna have a place in music. It's like kids that are, you know, they're coming of age and they're starting to explore and starting to experiment with pot and shit, and they get into Bob Marley, and then they find this whole world and they're like, oh damn, this sounds kind of like Bob Marley, but like with a little bit more of a modern twist. And it's like, it's a safe bet at success. You know what I mean? And that's not my thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, props to you, man, for staying true to yourself. And I like too, and I could just tell by following you on social media for all these years that you have a good sense of humor about everything you do. And you don't take yourself super fucking seriously. There's a lack of pretension, you know?
Okay. I just try to find the humor in everything. And I try to just be as real as I can. I'm just a dude fucking playing music, you know? I happen to have an audience and that's cool. But like, other than that, I just like memes and fucking, I don't know. I like laughing at shit.
I like that status you posted about how your kid pissed on you and you weren't allowed to piss on them in retaliation.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
Yeah, it's like this motherfucker pissed on me. It's my turn.
You gotta learn, man. You gotta learn.
Mrs. Rogers says playing music and changing diapers.
Yup. That's my whole life these days.
That's my life. Ask B about his drive-in show next month. How cool. Yeah, tell me about that, because is this the future of live music? B, take it away.
Well, back to Mark Rebillier, man. He was the first person I saw announce that in the States. He's doing a whole tour around that. And that's what really like lit the fire under my ass to do it. Like I knew we could sell the tickets if we did it. It was just a matter of finding somewhere we could do it and figuring out the production of it. And I mean, we pulled the trigger and it's looking really cool. And I'm stoked to do it. We've done a lot of live streaming at this point, but I'm excited to play in front of an audience. Like, I think it's going to be very interesting to finish songs. And instead of applause, you're going to hear car horns and shit.
Yeah. The lights on and off and shit. That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, dude, it comes back to what I was saying earlier, man. It's like, this shit is going to change everything. We will return to some form of normal, but I plan on making as many memories and as being as noticeable and as relevant as possible during this whole period. And if that means putting a show on in a drive-in theater, you know what I mean? It's a no-brainer to me, because like our fans are super stoked about it, doing it and coming to it. And it's just an interesting thing, you know, like it's for me, it's cool. So
I mean, it's forging new ground. Like,
dude, I've been comparing. There's a few other cats that I know that are like in our boat, and they're just really adapting to the times here, and that's how I keep describing it to them, man. Like, I feel like I'm in the fucking Wild West, man, or I feel like I'm in the 1920s, and it's like bootlegging and shit, and it's like, man, I feel like I hate it, but I almost love it, because I like the challenge, and I like the fact that there's not really any rules or any like formula. It's just a matter of it's like fortune favors the bold kind of shit. And I've always really thought of myself as a risk taker, and I like having more of an open field to like plant seeds, if that makes sense. Just see what grows.
I mean, because that's the thing. If anything is possible, then that means something might stick with all of this, you know. So you just got to have enough of an open mind to try shit. I didn't want to fucking start streaming. I just thought streaming was for video game kids, you know. And then now I'm doing it 3 fucking times a week. I'm doing it like, you know, fucking 12 hours a week, if not longer. And
that'll never go anywhere. That you figured out something that works for you, and it's like, why would that change? You know, it's just another skill set for you and a way to make money.
Cluebot56 says, I feel like B-Hard's got to come out with a song called "Ah Fuck" in honor of his live stream. I don't know what that's referring to, but
I've at this point I have all these songs that I've written, and a lot of them are songs I don't play ever, and I'll like be playing a song and I'll forget it. I'll forget a lyric, and then I just instinctually I'm like, ah, fuck, and then I'll go back and do it, and it's become a joke.
I feel that, yeah, because people request shit out of left field. And then you're like, well, I haven't played this song in 6 years. And then you try to play it.
That's like another element of like our shit is like, you know, we're a band. Like, we play live music. So like something I don't judge people who do it, like, because I understand the necessity and the reason why a lot of bands use backing tracks. But like Bumpin Uglies will fucking never use backing tracks. Like, it's just not something we're going to do. Like, we're a band that plays songs that we know, you know what I mean? And we figure it out. Like, it may not sound like the record, but it's gonna fucking sound like us live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. There was a period in the '90s where Prince stopped using synthesizers altogether. He wanted every single element on the record to be from a live acoustic instrument. You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's something that Rage Against the Machine, back to the whole Rage thing, that they would do as well. They would put on every single one of their LPs or CD or whatever the fuck form it took. They would say everything you hear on here was created by guitars, bass, drums, and vocals, And so when you heard Tom Morello doing all that, you were just like, whoa. Sounds like some futuristic like synthesizer type shit. But it was just a dude and a whammy pedal, you know?
Yeah.
And now I got one. Yeah,
I started fucking around with the whammy stuff in the last few months. It's just like blowing my mind. I love it.
It's fun. The cool features on the whammy is all the pitch shifting features where you could add like a fifth or a third, you know. And there's a down tune feature that's kind of cool. But the thing I like doing the most is doing the 2 octave.
Yeah.
And just going boom, wee, 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 you know, just getting stupid with it, making all types of futuristic sounds.
That's really the only use I found for it is just it's almost just like a different crayon for the wah pedal. You know what I mean? Just a way to make fucking solos sound fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. Making the solos. Well, I'm stoked. Now, as far as the drive-in show was concerned, did you find the venue and is that all you? Like you booked that?
It was myself and my agent.
Okay.
We actually we talked to like fucking like 25 different drive-ins, but the one we ultimately settled on was the first one that we approached, which was like the neighborhood drive-in of my keyboard player where he grew up. And the reason we did it was like geographically it made a lot of sense, and the quote they offered us was really good, you know, so it made sense, you know.
So what's the capacity as far as car loads? Is there a capacity as far as people, or is it car loads? Like, how does that work?
It's car loads. So like they normally can accommodate 500 vehicles and we're doing 240 so that each vehicle has its own space so that people can actually get out of their vehicles and, they're not stuck in there. They can move around a little bit while practicing social distancing. And then that's another reason why, because we were looking at like just parking lots and shit and just doing it all on our own, but like doing it at a drive-in theater, like they have staff in place. So it's way easier to keep everything safe. Like the bathrooms, for example, like we're only going to have 1 people allowed in a bathroom at a time, and then they'll be shut down to sanitize every hour. And just other stuff in place like that, where the staff that's covered under the rental, they'll take care of it.
Well, fuck yeah. And what was my other question? Because I don't know did you see the article where in Alabama where they actually had a socially distanced concert where it was in a theater? Did you see that?
Didn't.
Okay. Some article came out, but it was a country artist or something. And I remember a lot of people weighed in on it is like, even though it's socially distanced, we're talking about an enclosed space. And that's why the drive-in shit works, because it's open air. And, and that makes it way less of a risk for anyone who's attending, like even if they do get out of their cars. I mean, we're talking about just a lot of the studies and whatnot that have come to light as far as the open air is concerned. It's like you're way less likely to contract this shit in open air as opposed to like in a fucking theater where you got 150 people. Even if they're socially distanced, it's all recycled air. You're all breathing each other's spit, you know? Yep. So you're doing like ethically, I think, that this is the best way to go about it, like a fucking drive-in theater. Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, that's the most important thing is making sure we're doing something that's like safe and still cool, like taking care of our people, you know, the people that support us and want to come. Yeah, because I think if you were to like have a socially distanced concert in an enclosed space, I think you'd be putting people at risk. And I think as an artist, you have to take into consideration the safety of the people who want to buy tickets. I mean, even if it's possible, is it the best idea? I think I definitely think the driving thing is the best way to go at this point. Yeah, man, I'm excited to see how it goes. Are you going to stream it at all or film it? I shouldn't be saying this, but I was going to wait for it to sell out. But yeah, we're almost definitely going to stream it. I just... I'm not really making that public but we're pretty fucking close to selling it out at this point. This is pretty public right now. There's 24 people watching in real time. Yeah, fuck it. You know, it's whatever. It's out there. We're almost definitely going to stream it. We have the infrastructure in place to stream it, and it's like, why not? You know? Yeah, because I want to check it out just out of curiosity. Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. We got a
pretty ripping light guy that we use. He's going to come out, and so there'll be like just a bitchin' light show going on. We're hooking up the feed we're hooking up a video feed to the actual projector. You know what I mean? So we'll have like a drone flying around that we can cut to at times, and just all sorts of fucking crazy shit.
People on the Twitch are saying, "Shh, Brandon."
Yeah, well, just it's on you guys to not tell other people.
Well, either way, I'll pretend like I didn't hear anything, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. Just because I'm a dude who plays music as well, and I want to, you. Over the years, you see a lot. Like I've seen so many bands that we've either played a show with on tour, or we played multiple shows with. We used to tour with, and we watched them blossom. And I always thought you were a really hardworking guy, and to see all of your posts about 3 years ago that we had 20 paid at this venue, and tonight we have 250. Like you're not like flexing. You're just a fucking proud dad. You're like I gave birth to this shit, and look at it. Like I always, that shit resonated with me. I always was like, right on, man. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like a flex. It's just, you're just like a proud dad. That's the way I look at it.
Well, I mean, it's just like, I feel like it's a little bit of both, because it's like,
well, you earned that flex.
Yeah, but it's just like, you gotta for me, it's like, I want to let people know that it's like, God, dude, there's so much doubt when I started doing this from like everyone in my life. And like,
you were a waiter, right?
Yeah, dude, I was a server right out of high school, and that's just what I did, man. And then it's like, I go from that to this, and like being in this band that just like, with a stupid fucking name, I don't know. And it's like, I always knew I was going to make it work. But like, like along the way, like, friends that have moved to other parts of the country, and they come out to the bullshit shows you're doing in the beginning. And it's like, I just knew, I knew I was going to make it work. And it's like, to an extent, like I'll put that out there because I am proud, but also just to be like, yeah, this is working. Like I'm making it work,
Yeah. Props, man. That's the shit.
Thanks, man.
And I remember I always would weigh in and be like, yeah, yeah. I forgot what I said. My thought always when I saw those posts was just like, man, I wish people liked my band more. But it's something that, especially this quarantine thing, is like I've come to peace with. Things might not have worked out the way I wanted them to, but fucking things work, dude. I live in Long Beach, California. Like I can afford to eat. I have a nice, pretty girlfriend, and she's nice to me, and we can ride our bikes to the fucking beach. And I'm friends with great musicians out here, and I'm still making shit. You know what I mean? I think no matter which way the cards fall, you have to find a way to be at peace with whatever the fuck, as long as you didn't completely ruin your life, and you didn't. You cleaned your shit up. Yeah. How long has it been since you stopped drinking?
It'll be 6 months in like 2 weeks. And I don't see, here's my thing is like, I don't know if it's a lifestyle change for me. I got a DUI last December, it was like, I've since then, I got the DUI because I refused to blow. It was a bullshit DUI because they took a court order for my blood, and there was no alcohol in my blood.
Wild.
So I just refused to blow because I had a few drinks that night and I didn't know. And I refused to blow. So like, but the point is like, I got it after leaving a gig, that I thought, like I said, I thought I was being responsible, which I obviously was, because there was no fucking alcohol in my blood at that point. But I still, like, this happened, and it cost me $3,000 at this point to deal with it. So like, I just had, at this point, booze had been in my life for 15 years. And I was like, what the fuck is this even doing for me? And this is my livelihood. I need to drive to gigs. So like, if this can happen, like, I'm just going to take a year off to see what's up. And, that's where I'm at right now, is like, I'm in the middle of that year. But like, at this point, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would go back to it. I feel like way better. I perform way better. I'm like getting a lot of shit done. Like,
the main thing that I noticed I was like pissing the bed a lot and blacking out and just being terrible when I was drinking. But I think especially if you're medicated for the anxiety and depression, I think not mixing alcohol, having that be a part of the equation, I think it's a good thing,
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the thing is like, it doesn't necessarily add anything into my life other than it's just like cool in like social situations. But like, so is smoking weed. And so is like, it's like my personality is not dependent on alcohol. Like I can be just as funny or just as fucking, I can participate in a conversation just as well. And honestly, it's like, yeah, I'm almost like I'm firing on all cylinders now. So it's like, I don't know why I would start again, but I'm not taking it off the table at the same time either, because at the same time, I've also proven to myself and anyone who might have ever thought that I clearly don't have a drinking problem, because I just fucking one day I put it down and it wasn't an issue.
My girlfriend quit drinking for like a year, and then she had a glass of wine the other night, and I was just like, what are you doing? I'm like, all that work. And she's like, I'm fine. And then like, it's been, 3 weeks. She has a glass of wine here and there. And so now I'm convinced that, okay, she's not going to drink a bottle of wine and start crying. And she might, I think she's got this, so.
Yeah.
It's all about moderation. But the problem with me, no moderation. If I'd start drinking tomorrow, I'd be pissing the bed that night.
Hey, man, I got to hop off here, man, because it's about dinner time with my kid.
Yeah, do your thing. Hey, thanks for coming on, man, because you saved the day.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
And is there anything you want to plug real quick? I think we kind of went over all of it.
Yeah, I think I got the job done. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, bro. And so I'm gonna try to come up with a cool design for the band, and we can get silly with it, right? We can.
Dude. We honestly, like our people love. We try to have like a good with our merch. So anyone watching, this is how we ended up doing this. Was like, we're doing some artwork together, and I just randomly hit him up on Facebook, and he was like, dude, come on the podcast today. So it's like, here we are. But back to that conversation. Yeah, dude, like we try to have a balance between like silly art and then like fucking serious art that I feel like the serious art is more designed towards girls who want shit that's like kind of pretty and fashionable. But then like our sense of humor.
A lot of girls don't want like bloody entrails, and I mean, some of them do, but
if we were left to our own devices, we would probably, everything would be belligerent. But that said, yeah, like, so have fun with it, make it cool. And honestly, like our merch game is like so constantly rotating. If you ever have an idea for us that you think would be cool, just hit me up, and we'll pretty much always take new art,
Cool, man. Well, thanks for hitting me up, because I like staying busy.
Oh, yeah, man. All right, brother. I'll talk to you.
All right. Thanks, man. And good luck, and enjoy your dinner.
Thanks, man. See you.
All right. Peace, dude. You gotta, there we go. We're doing the thing. We're doing a thing. We're doing a thing. So there you go. That is and was Brandon from the band Bumpin Uglies. And you know what? We're streaming right now. So I might just get a little weird here. Oh, thank you. This has been okay. Cool. Well, I think it's time to get a little weird, Can we? Because this is the thing. I could just end this right now, but I'm supposed to be streaming anyway right now. We can just keep it going. But yeah, shouts out to Brandon Hardesty of the Bumpin Uglies, and having a good attitude about this whole pandemic thing. Because Lord knows.
This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast.
Oh shit.
This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast. This is a podcast.
Oh shit.
This is a SUPcast. This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast.
Hold on real quick. I'm going to go grab my guitar, okay? And you don't have to stay if you don't want to, but if you do, let's party. Come on. It's Saturday. Unless you got to eat.
What else you got to do with your life? What else you got to do with your life? What else do you got to do with your life? This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast. 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 SUPcast. This is a SUPcast. This is a podcast. This is a SUPcast. This is a podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, I dropped my monster condom for my Magnum Dong. My Magnum Dong. I dropped my monster condom for my Magnum Dong.
I dropped my monster condom for my Magnum Dong. I dropped my monster condom for my Magnum Dong. I'm a cabbage. I'm a cabbage. I'm a cabbage. I'm a cabbage.
Is anyone out there ready for some white guy funk? Well, you came to the right place. You came to the right place.
I dropped my monster condom for my Magnum Dong.
Crazy. That's crazy. That's so crazy. It already happened. It already happened. The interview already happened.
drink. I just drank a Monster, yo. I drank a Monster energy drink, and I'm feeling the effects of the Monster energy drink. I'm like, shit.
Having a good time on a Saturday, having a good time, yeah. Having a good time on a Saturday, having a good time, yeah. Having a good time on a Saturday, having a good time,
oh,
yeah.
shit.
Having a good time on a Saturday, having a good time, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every time I go to the store, I see the same dude. He's dressed like a cop and he's sexy as hell, and I won't shut the fuck up about it, yeah.
Having a good time on a Saturday, having a good time, yeah. Having a good time on a Saturday, having a good time, yeah.
Hey, we're dropping like flies here. People are dropping off of this interview because it was an interview. Now it's not an interview anymore. It's just me. It's Neil Patterson. You know, maybe I'll fuck around on the loop machine another day. Homegirl's gonna start vacuuming the house. I should just let her vacuum the house, right? Thanks for tuning into the interview, everybody. That was Brandon from Bumpin Uglies, and we did it. We did it, 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 we did it.
We did it, 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 we did it. Yeah.
It's an overview, get it?
We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. Yeah. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. Yeah, we did it. We did it. We did the thing that we were supposed to do. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did the thing. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did the thing. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did the thing. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. We did the thing. 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 Yeah. Did the thing. We did the thing. Yeah. Did the thing. Did the thing. Yeah. Did the thing.
I'm gonna be done.
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 Did the thing. 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 Did the thing.
All right, I'm gonna go now. Have a good day, everyone.